What's up everybody, Tiankum here with Sew Yeah Quilting with a special guest, Carolina Moore, who's going to do a product review slash demo with us on one of her notions that we have come to love. Let's get started. The notion that we're going to show off here a little bit is one that's unfamiliar to us a little bit in the sense of it's for bag making more than it is quilting. However, I've been getting into some pouches recently, I've been getting into some bowls, so show us what this does, how it's supposed to work, and go ahead and take the show floor.
Sure. I've been a quilter for over 30 years. I love quilting, but
Awesome.
Sometimes you want a really simple project that you can just do like quick and easy. And bags are fun, quick, easy to make. But doing that inset corner, cutting that box corner was always such a hassle because I was so afraid that I was going to cut it. So I'm gonna, I've got a square of fabric for you here. I'm gonna have you cut just a regular 2-inch inset square. A regular box corner.
An inset corner is where you cut a 2x2.
You're cutting
into it.
Yeah.
That way the bottom of your bag, again, I'm not a bag maker, but I'm learning here.
Yep.
So it squares off the bottom of this bag.
It does this on the bottom so that you have a bag that actually can stand up.
Makes up, right? Any bag that's square on the bottom, this is the method that they're using. And so I'm going to cut into here. And you can't go too far, right?
If you cut, you only have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if you cut too far, you've ruined your fabric. If you don't cut far enough, you're gonna have to go back at it in a little bit. And so usually what happens is what you just did right there, and we didn't cut far enough. So you could go dig somewhere. We've got scissors, I'm sure, here on the set. Or you're doing what I always do, which is I've got the rotary cutter in my hand anyway. I'm gonna hopefully not cut my fingers, but...
It's funny because I've seen what the product does, because we've been using this product. This seems so awkward now.
Right?
To try to cut out this corner, because there's no real good way, and that wasn't very accurate on my end. You want to be able to slice it, but if you go too far, which I just did there,
yep,
you get, oh, I didn't even cut that all the way.
You went too far on one side and not far enough.
That's embarrassing.
But this is what happens with these traditional methods of trying to cut it. You end up, this is really common. Any quilter or bag maker who's done this before, that would look really like, oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, but that's essentially what it's supposed to look like. Obviously it takes a little bit of hassle, and I've messed up there.
That's okay.
Where's my uncut? Right there. Right?
Your little tip. Right. Like it'll be fine. So I decided that this needed to be easier. There had to be an easier way to do it. And so I did some playing and I came up with the box bag template. We've got 2 more corners on this square. So go ahead and try cutting it with the box bag template. You're going to do the same thing. We're going to use this side of the ruler. Now there are 2 other parts. We'll talk about those in a little bit. But we're going to start with the 2-inch. So you're going to line up 2 inches and 2 inches on your ruler.
Got it.
And I'm going to tell you a little magic that I've actually never showed in another video. You ready?
Oh, here we go.
These lines over here, if you want, you can use that just a little bit to help line up that 2-inch. So if you're doing a 2.5 inch, you can use those lines as well as that line. So there's just an extra set of lines there if you want.
I see.
Right?
It's got little notches in it, so that way I can just go right on into the notch.
So your fabric is protected. You can't cut too far.
Yes.
And these notches are designed to go with any regular 45mm rotary cutter, which is what you have right there.
Yep.
And it'll cut it perfect every single time.
Ooh,
like butter, right?
Clean.
You gotta close your rotary cutter, man.
Thank you.
So same thing, you can do it again. So you have it upside down. You always want the markings on the bottom.
Just like that.
Yep, open up your rotary cutter, cut.
Can't believe you pointed out that I didn't close it.
Close it.
Gotta embarrassing.
Keep it real. So see how much easier and faster that was? And none of this nonsense on these ones.
Well, more than anything, it takes the headache out of measuring. I know off this one because it has all my measurements just fine. And a perfect 90 degree.
Putting this on a light color here so you can see it a little better. All the measurements, they go from 1/2 inch all the way up to 4 inches, and they're at 1/2 inch increments. I didn't do 1/4 inch increments because it's too many. It's too many lines. But if you want a 1/4 inch increment, you can see here, I just used a piece of glow line tape, and that'll give you a 1/4 inch mark.
Simple. 90 degree with the cutouts makes it really easy.
So now I'm going to talk about the curve, because there's 3 parts on the box bag template. One is the box corner, so we looked at the box corner already. The second is the curve. I put a curve on here that you can cut with a regular 45mm rotary cutter. You don't need one of those tiny little 15mm rotary cutters to cut that curve. So it's big enough that you can cut it, but it's small enough that it cuts off a very, very small amount of fabric. It's easy enough to bind around, so you can use this curve on your placemats, on your table runners, on your baby quilts. And now if you're doing a bias binding anyway, just bias bind right around that curve. It's easier than going one end and then doing your flippy and then binding the other way. And it looks fancier. And if I can get credit for being fancy when I'm actually being lazy, I'll do that all day long.
Well, and I'm glad you point that out, because curved binding, it's really just like binding, right? It really is the same. So to use this, I'm guessing here.
And then line up the 2 edges with the fabric In this case, I have a fabric square that has batting behind it. You want to line it up with the fabric, not the batting, if your fabric and batting aren't exactly perfect.
Perfect. So I'm going to just hit this and go all the way around.
Yep.
Right?
Just go all the way around.
Oops. Well, and if you make a mistake or you don't hit it quite perfect, you can always go back through and hit it perfect.
And you can see how little fabric that took off. It's just a tiny little bit. You're not losing a big chunk of your project.
It's just enough, right? I mean, you're literally just cutting corners here, right?
Yes.
That term matters now, right? You can't cut corners on a quilt except for right now.
You can cut corners if you cut them as a curve, yes.
Yes. So that goes like this.
Yep, all the way around. And now you can take your favorite plate. Most of us have like a plate that we take in from the kitchen and put it in our sewing room to be able to cut curves on our projects. You can take that plate, put it back in the kitchen. Although I heard that y'all don't use plates here.
We've been using red solo cups for that forever,
I think
right?
it's hilarious.
Or like this guy right here. He's perfect. You just set him down. No, not anymore. We're advancing here.
So that curve was actually initially designed for the flaps on bags. So if you have a bag flap, you don't want corners on your bag flap because
little satchel.
Yep, you have a nice curved bag flap. So that's what that curve was designed for.
I like it.
But once you have a good curve, you can use it forever.
And I'm going all the way around on these, or?
Yep, go ahead and go all the way around.
I'll just go all the way around. That way you can see how easy they are. And one thing I really do like on this, it's something I just saw now actually, is that you've got a middle line curve.
So that's that dotted line right down there. It gives you just an extra reference point. Exactly. Some people will want to use it, some people won't. It's like pins. Some of us love to use pins. I'm not necessarily in the pins camp, so I'll only use it if I really, really need pins.
I was about to say this is about to get awkward because this is a pinless place. I got my Wonder Clips right here. I've always been about them.
Did you step on a pin as a child and have a traumatic experience? Is that why it's no pins?
No. I started our little journey here into this industry. Wonder Clips came out, and I said, forget it. Yeah, that was the last day, because that makes way more sense, right? So, right there, all four sides, done.
Now what we're going to do is we take this and fold it in half, and when you were folding it to get that midline crease, you were folding with that batting and the fabric.
Yeah.
You can do that, but if you fold just the fabric, you don't have that batting in the way, and you'll get a sharper crease that you'll be able to see better.
And you're just doing a nice finger press, nothing crazy.
Yep, and open that up, and that gives us that really sharp, beautiful crease that we can see. You can do it the other direction
just
as well.
Making sure I'm catching everything here. When you have the creator of the product in the house, you want to make sure that you're doing it exactly right.
So now I'm going to talk a little bit about darts. So with darts, take this, crease it, and get a nice midline crease here to be able to cut a dart in the corner of your bag.
Yep, just give it a rounded shape.
And that gives a rounded shape like this one here or this one here, where you can take that curve and that dart, and it gives you that 3D of a bag that, like, you can put your keys in here, you know. I mean, you might not have a lipstick and a mascara, but I could put like a lipstick mascara in here, and like the bulk of the bag, it doesn't look lumpy. So you can put a dart. I like to say, like, this is a daytime look and this is an evening look when you add curves and darts. It just gives you a different look to the bottom of your bag.
Put that on a shirt or on a quilt. that is actually, that was just like, wow, that is absolutely true. You're gonna grab like a clutch with a round to go hit the town, or if you're like out and about, you're gonna grab your big bag that's square.
Yeah, you know, this ruler will take you from day to evening.
We're learning things here. We're learning things here.
So you can cut your darts in your corners. We're actually gonna go rogue, and I'm gonna have you cut the dart in the side, and you can pick whatever size dart you want to do. I sometimes, like, 2 is an easy number for me, but you can go with whatever size you want. For the box corners, it goes from a 1/2 inch all the way up to 4 inches. For the darts, it goes from a 1/2 inch all the way up to 3.5. Put that midline on your fold, and then you cut in just like you did with the box corner side. The one thing is, you don't ever want to put your hand on this side, because if you go crazy and you jump the ruler, I don't want you to cut your fingers. So keep your fingers out of the path. Your fingers can be on this side, on this side.
So it's like here?
Yep.
Okay. 1.
Yes.
2.
Yep.
And let's see. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Slick. This little notchy thing. Okay, I'm sure it has a technical name, but it's awesome.
I give them all kinds of names. I say that they're teardrop shaped because it'll keep you from crying tears.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
But there's magic math that is used because of the curve of a rotary cutter blade. How far your blade, the top of your blade goes compared to the thickness of the acrylic to get the bottom to hit in that certain corner.
Clean. I'm ready to keep going. This is too easy. This is too easy. And if I get this wrong, guys, she was watching me, so.
I mean, here's the thing. If you get it wrong, at the end of the day, it's just fabric.
Yeah.
Go get some more, right? Now you have scraps, and you can go make beautiful quilts with the scraps from this project. At the end of the day, take a deep breath. It's just fabric. It'll be okay.
We've got our darts in this and our rounded corners there.
Yes.
Super simple, super easy there.
Do you know what you made right there?
Not yet. I'm waiting.
That's half a bowl cozy.
Half of a bowl cozy. You see that, guys? We're moving right along.
You take this, fold it in half, and you're going to sew from one end to the other. You're going to lock your stitches, and that's something that's new for quilters, locking your stitches. Do you know what I mean? You're a sewing machine expert.
Backstitch, right?
So you just stitch back and forth.
We're supposed to backstitch in quilting too, but we don't.
What? No. You don't backstitch in quilting because that adds bulk, the thread bulk to the seam.
No, sorry. If you started, if you're putting your rows together, you're supposed to backstitch just like.
Okay, I want to know in the comments now. Let's sound off. Do you backstitch when you make your quilts, or is that too much bulk and you want to just keep it straight?
You're supposed to, but like that's fine. I don't. Yeah, I don't. Anyway.
So you know the rule, but you don't follow
yeah,
it. Got it.
I don't
Okay, fair enough. So
super cool.
Sew all your darts, these two, and then you'll do the two on the other side, and at that point it'll be a little bit like this because these two are already sewn. You're gonna sew these two, and that's half your bowl cozy. So if you want to grab one of the bowl cozies that's done.
Yeah. Well, is it okay if we throw a little bit of thread in that?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to stitch it up?
Oh, let's just try it, just so people can see how easy it was that we turned something 2D to 3D.
You can stitch on the blinged out baby lock.
The blinged out baby lock on this one. It's an honor. And I did not backstitch there, don't.
No, you don't need to backstitch at the beginning, just where the fold is. You can on both. If you're nervous, you absolutely can backstitch on both ends just to keep yourself used to backstitching. But you just have to do it on the fold end.
Thread cutter on this?
No, not on this machine. Yes, do I wish that I had blinged out a machine that had a thread cutter? Yes, I do. But it does have a backstitch.
That's all you need.
And this machine doesn't have a 1/4 inch foot on it right now, and that's okay as long as your seam allowance on your top piece is the same as the seam allowance on your bottom piece. They'll go together fine.
So that will have then turned this into a 3D 1/2 bowl cozy, right?
Yep. So you can compare. So then you make a second one, put them right sides together. Sew all the way around, leaving yourself a hole for turning. Turn
Easy.
it, top stitch. If you want all the measurements, all the instructions, there's a pattern for it.
Yeah.
Of course.
And for the box template and the pattern, you can definitely get them down in the description below.
Yep.
And then do we have to do any trim up on this, anything like that? It just goes right together.
Yep. Now this one you sewed with metallic thread, so you definitely don't want to put this one in the microwave.
Nice call. Nice call on that one. No, this is just so great because what we've done here, so we boxed the corners, not on this one, but we've boxed the corners, put darts in, and rounded off corners. One ruler.
Yep.
That's it, right?
And I currently have 14 patterns, simple patterns that don't use any buttons, zippers, snaps. A couple of them use a little bit of interfacing, but 14 really easy patterns. So simple, they fit on a postcard that you can use the box bag template for. And if you're already a bag maker, any of your existing bag patterns should be able to be using this template as well.
And that's what I love. Is like, if you are a bag maker, you should have this ruler. Because you need it. You're going to need to put a dart in it. You're going to need to put a box corner or round it off. And the pattern's going to say something like, measure over on a rounded edge, 2.5 inches, and put a 1 by whatever. It gets way too hard when you can just slap it on there and make it happen.
It's so easy.
And we appreciate all your time and all the effort that you're putting into these products because it makes our lives easier as the end consumer of this, right? That it makes it easy and it's well thought out, guys. And not only that, if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Carolina Moore's channel.
Oh, thank you.
On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I'm sure it's all the major platforms, right?
Yep.
Thank you to Carolina Moore for being here today and showing us this product.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been really fun to hang out with you here. This is a blast.
Absolutely. And not only that, we have a couple more videos that we filmed with Carolina, so make sure you go watch those too. They'll be either on the screen or on the side, and we'll see you on the next one.